Dealing with divorce during Christmas can be harder than the rest of the year, and Dr. Kenner and Blood, I called you, just because we're so close, Bud Kluick are here to help talk about blended and separated families during the holidays. You are board-certified family attorney, so that's good. We had our favorite mental health specialist here, too. I haven't seen you guys together in a while.
Yeah.
So, I miss you.
Well,
because now that we're blood,
kid issues bring us back together.
Yeah. So what is it on the legal side that we should be looking for? How can we help these blended families and separated families?
Well, as usual, Joe, I have 4 points, and if you want, I always come here with 4 points or 3 points or whatever. If you want to kind of organize the attorney, you would give Bud a call. The first one is that if there's an emergency that that presents itself, probably you won't make it into court except if it's a very specific kind of emergency, and not getting the cheapest tickets to grandma's house so they're going to delay the visit for 2 days is probably not the kind of emergency that the courts will look at. Yeah. Number 2, if something bad happens, make note of it and get started early to change the underlying court order. Number 3 is the easiest way to get through the holidays is look at what your court orders say and do exactly and specifically that. And lastly, which is at least at face value, maybe a little bit contradictory, if you do make changes, be flexible and be cooperative, but make sure that it's in writing so everybody knows, again, specifically what is expected of them. And that's easier nowadays because of texting and email to have everything in writing.
Yeah, but that has to be set up in advance. You have to discuss this with each other, obviously, right? And you say be specific but flexible.
Right. That's kind of the easiest way to make it through the holidays, again, is to read your court orders and do exactly what they say, because it's already been decided and it's already part of the court orders and everybody has it in black and white. And ambiguity or gray areas is what usually sets people off and causes problems and causes you to go to court and, quite frankly, causes you to pay somebody like me. And so just tell the person ahead of time that you're a co-parent, we're going to do exactly what the court orders say, and that's probably the easiest way to get through it. But on the other hand, if there needs to be some flexibility, be a little bit flexible and be cooperative with your co-parent, but make sure that it's in writing, make sure it's in an email, and make sure that that email doesn't have any ambiguities in it and is highly specific.
Right.
But getting to the emergency, the kind of emergencies that the courts will look at very short notice, it's called ex parte, which is another word it's kind of a Latin phrase of getting to the front of the line, taking cuts, so to speak. Ex parte. It's a loose translation, Joe, but it kind of covers that. But the kind of emergency they want is a threat of physical violence to the child, or somebody's going to take the child out of the state.
A real emergency.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And now on the psychological side.
Question, really quick. What about just calling the police if something like that happens? Does that not work? If
that would be helpful. But I was differentiating if the fact that you're going to send the child to grandma's late may be an emergency to you, but it's not the kind of emergency that the court system will look at. It's physical violence or kidnapping is usually the kind of emergency that the courts are talking about.
So what advice then emotionally, psychologically?
You know, Joe, this is the time of year where you really have to be as amicable as you can. Even if you've got a difficult divorce and you don't get along with your ex, you know, for the best interests of kids, you've got to really try to be amicable as much as you can. Stick with the court order, what you've done. Do the best you can going through the divorce process of getting as much down on paper before you part ways, so it goes as smoothly as possible. But it's a real tough time for kids.
But then that works with the legal side too. Get it written down.
Yes.
And make sure that both sides understand exactly what it is. And of course, what you're saying, Dick, is the children. First and foremost,
always.
It's the kids.
It's a tough experience for any child to have to go between two homes. It really is during the year, but especially over the holidays because it's a festive time, and kids are really looking forward to having their families together. And if the divorce is relatively new, it's harder because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
So you've got to expect that kids are going to be a little bit regressed and upset this time of year, especially if they're in two separate homes.
Yeah, and even teens.
Absolutely.
It could be even more difficult, and not to treat your teen like a peer.
Right.
Oh, still your child. Don't be dumping on your teen.
Don't be their buddy.
Right.
Or their friend. Be their parent, and you've got to be strong for them.
Or try to make them an ally of you in the divorce.
Right.
That's a real danger and really a horrible thing to do.
So there you go. See Bud. There it is. You see the information on your screen right now. now. You just call Bud if you have any other particular questions about this.
It's important.
And remember the season, and try to remember it all year long.
Yep.
And the kids.
Put them first. You got to always put them first, everybody.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Once again.